Meanwhile, President Obama reportedly saying he's concerned for his former vice president, Joe Biden, in terms of winning the presidency in 2020. Former Obama California chair Steve Wesley is our guest now, backing the former vice president in this particular race. And Steve, good to see you. I'm talking about a Politico magazine piece, which you've probably seen or heard about, where the former president is quoted. And the context for that quote is, and it's come second or third hand, is that he's talking to another candidate who comes to see him in the office, supposedly. And he says, I used to have an intimate bond with the electorate, especially in Iowa, that apparently President Obama says he no longer has. And then reportedly goes on to say, and you know who really doesn't have it? Joe Biden. What do you say?
Well, look, I can't comment on that. I wasn't there. What I can say is Vice President Biden has led this primary pretty much from day one to today. I think he's put together a strong national campaign. He's clearly the guy to beat. I can also say that Barack Obama's endorsement would probably be, without any doubt, the most important endorsement in this race. And if he were allowed to run a third time, I think he'd win the presidency by 20 points.
Okay, well, that part's not going to happen, obviously. But the first part might and hasn't yet. I mean, there's been a lot said about that, where the former vice president comes and says, oh, I asked him not to endorse me. What do you say?
Now, look, again, I can't comment on that. I think what this is all about is you've got, a dozen candidates, the number shrinking all the time. And the big question I think voters are really looking deep into their souls on, at least if you're a Democrat, is which of these candidates, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Senator Warren, et cetera, can win those 3 or 4 key electoral college states. I think Vice President Biden is best positioned to do that. I think the data shows that. He was born in Pennsylvania. Right. But I think Mike Bloomberg coming into the race introduces an interesting new element. We'll see. That's why it's one of the most interesting elections of our time.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit because, as you kind of allude to, Buttigieg has done better in the polls, and there's new polling out today but Biden still leads it nationally. What is the effect of Bloomberg? I mean, he's not going to come to guys like you wanting to raise money, right? I mean, he doesn't need the money. He's going to spend a lot of the money. He's going to spend a lot of his own money. How does he actually change the dynamic, do you think?
Look, I think it's easy to write Mike Bloomberg off as a billionaire. And with the base of the party, that's not the most popular thing in the world. But I think analysts and others, candidates, would be remiss to dismiss him. Here's why. First, he's held office 3 times as a very popular mayor of New York. Many said the best mayor in the country. Second, elections, especially presidential elections in this country, are expensive. Here you have the world's 9th richest human being, someone who can run a 50-state campaign. And third, and this is something that's less talked about, all the other Democrats are talking about income redistribution. Mike Bloomberg's talking about wealth creation and redistribution. And I think that'll be a powerful message to a lot of voters. He is trying to position himself as the candidate of jobs. We'll see how it shakes out.
As a Biden supporter, though, does it worry you? Because Mike Bloomberg will tell you he gets in the race to, obviously to defeat Donald Trump is what he's talked about in his ads, but in the primaries to beat someone like Elizabeth Warren, who he disagrees with on the issues. But the net effect of that, many analysts will tell you, is that he could split the vote of the so-called moderate Democrats, and that would hurt the guy you're supporting, Vice President Biden.
I think that is absolutely an issue. That is why I think any candidate, whether on the left or the center, would be foolish to discount Michael Bloomberg. He's extremely articulate, strong track record, job creator. These things will be factors. I still believe that Joe Biden is the person who resonates best with America. He's the most experienced. He's ready to go on day one. And he's also someone that most every American knows, feels comfortable with, and has been associated with probably the most popular presidency in the last few decades.
Now, the final point, though, you had a lot of complimentary things to say about Mayor Bloomberg, though. Why is Biden better than Bloomberg? Is it as simple as he's somebody who needs fundraising and you still need supporters like you? I mean, you sound, just listening to you speak, you sound like you really like Bloomberg.
Well, look, I want to see the person who is most able to beat Donald Trump, because I think he's been bad for our country. I believe that Joe Biden is that person. One, he is the most experienced. Two, he plays particularly well in the Northwest or in the northern part of the country, in the northern Midwest.
Right.
Again, this election boils down to Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. You've got a candidate, Joe, from Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he's someone the American people are comfortable with. I think the American people, after all the drama of the Trump administration, are yearning for someone they can like and feel good about. And I think Joe Biden is the most likable candidate in American politics today.
Steve Wesley, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. Steve's raised a lot of money for Democratic candidates over the years. In a moment,